Tell me, how do you like the festival?
We come every year.
Uh-huh.
And I'm loving it. It's just nice to see everyone in the community come out like this instead of everybody like being in the closet.
Let's see your wings.
My book series surrounds a witch by the name of Rowan Gant, a male witch who lives in St. Louis, and through no fault of his own, he ends up helping his best friend, who's a homicide detective, solve serial murders. And they're really, there's an element of horror and mystery and suspense, kind of a police procedural type of thing. I originally started writing them with the intention of writing mystery novels that had a little bit of pagan education in them for the masses, so that people who weren't familiar with paganism could actually learn a little bit about it while being entertained, much like the Harry Kimmelman Rabbi series.
This will be my third year coming and doing the opening number of the opening act. Black Man Clay, welcome to people. Whoever come by me can feel the energy and spirit and get happy. And these street foods, every time I perform at schools, the kids just love it. All they want me to do is play the nose flute, play the nose flute.
How's the festival going for you?
Fantastic. We just finished a children's ritual where we actually invited children from the audience to come and celebrate with us and do parts of liturgy. We ask that you now turn your attention to water and fire. As we walk these powers by, feel the coolness of water and the heat of fire. Yep.
Now, what's it like being in a group that has a very public face like Ton, as opposed to being a more private pagan?
Well, it's not all that different, really, because our meetings, while public, are not hugely attended by the public. I mean, they're out there, they're open to the public, but it's mostly pagans who come. But for some people, it's risky. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of prejudice against pagans of all kinds these days, and you wouldn't think in the 21st century that this would be the case, but it is. So there are people who are very wary of it. As far as participating, it's a wonderful dynamic. You get people from all pagan paths and all kinds of degrees of openness about and publicness, and it's wonderful. You get to meet so many people and see things from so many different perspectives.
What's it like being a member of a minority faith in Tucson?
It's pretty good. The only thing is I wish some of them would get along. Just like anything else, some pagans and witches or Wiccans or whatever don't get along for whatever reason. They don't understand each other's differences, and instead of encountering and working with it to understand that they'll just talk badly behind each other's back sometimes, and that happens everywhere. Also, I'm part of the gay community, so that cuts it down even more. Even some pagans don't understand that.
Well, in what sense?
They still have their own homophobia from before they became pagan, or they've had since whenever, and they don't understand it. Just bad as a Christian sometimes. People judge or want to have nothing to do with you, stuff like that.
What is your experience in being a pagan and being a druid in Tucson, being a member of a minority religion?
I guess we live by virtues, and we just, as a druid, it just sometimes it takes courage and integrity to continue walking the path and to continue being a minority religion. I personally feel like the world is going through a spiritual awakening, and there's a lot more tolerance for paganism and earth-based religions, and so I feel like we are the people leading in. We're the catalyst leading in our faith again. That it's becoming less and less minority and more common and mainstream.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
14. What's it like being a pagan in the Tucson area?
Well, a lot of people ask about it and aren't very comfortable when I talk about it, but I'm kind of open to just telling people about it. Because I feel like I should have to just sit there and not have people know.
One of the things about living here in Tucson is that it's very tolerant here. We have Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, we have the University of Arizona, we have the Pima Community College, we're a retirement center. We get people from all over the world. Plus we have, I think it's 7 native tribes here. So there's a lot of multiculturalism, and it's just kind of natural here. It's also too hot to get real head up about much.
What about the climate out here, being a pagan in a desert climate?
It's kind of strange because even though I like the solar energies and stuff like that, I'm more of a night person sometimes, and it interferes with it even at night. I don't know how to explain it. But it gets really hot and humid too in July and August, and that doesn't help. But it does help in other ways where you can find stuff to grow easier, better, and the climate is just great for planting and stuff like that.
The experience of being a druid in the desert is a little weird because most druids see themselves in great forests of oaks or trees of some kind with their sacred spaces, their nematons being in a clearing. Well, of course, here in Tucson and in other desert places, trees do exist, but they're not like they are in the East or in Ireland or Wales or the UK. So we've had to actually change how we do things. A sacred space could be bounded by stone, for instance, or it could have trees, but you know, the only trouble with trees in the desert is you can't guarantee they're going to stay alive.
Well, I don't know what it's like not to be a pagan out in the desert, except for maybe being a pagan in the Pacific Northwest or the Heartland, so
you've been to
it's
those
a little
places.
hotter than the other places, and a little drier, a little hot and pricklier. Otherwise, it's still passionate and playful and definitely full of pagans.
Is there a difference between being a pagan here and being up in, say, in the Pacific Northwest? The way you interact with the land?
No. No, the land's different, but the connection's the same. Just different geography.
Okay.
Different elemental energies. But it's still elementals.
When the music hits you, you can't let go. You feel it deep down in your soul. Do the music, you never grow old. Do you believe I'm 500 years old? Believe that you can bleed this. Do the music all your life, and you will never ever die.